Well, we're at Achnacawn, which is about halfway up the glen, and it's the site of an old Cameron burial ground, which was in use certainly in the 18th century, and then superseded by another burial ground lower down in the glen. But at the moment we're standing at an old settlement, which is just above the graveyard, and that we don't really know what date this settlement is. It may have been earlier than the burial ground, because Achnacawn means field of the dogs, which possibly is quite an unusual name to give to a burial ground, and in fact that may have related to this old settlement. So we're standing on the footings of a house. In this little settlement there's certainly one reasonably well preserved house, others platforms in which houses may have been built. We're at the corner of a large enclosure which was once ploughed. You can still see remains of the rig and furrow and the ploughed cultivation marks, clearance cairns, and then just maybe 100 metres or so away there is a very good corn drying kiln. This settlement is also located at the foot of the Five Finger Gully, with water and a lot of debris and landslides, rockfalls coming down from Glen Nevis. So a lot of remains, there may be more remains that have been covered up in stone. Well, the most visible thing is the graveyard, which has a stone-walled enclosure and with trees all around the perimeter. Somebody did say they'd found inscriptions of the 18th century, but I haven't managed to locate them, but there are supposed to be 18th century inscriptions. There's certainly quite a few stones and some little flat grave markers. Another good site related to this Achnacawn settlement is there's a very nice example of a corn drying kiln. In a wet climate like this, grain needed to be dried before it was milled. So quite often, most settlements had this corn drying kiln, usually set slightly apart from the houses because it probably was a fire risk because it had fire, you know. So it consists of there's a nice conical bowl dug into a hill, and that's lined with stone. And then at the base of this little bowl, there would a flue little tunnel passage, which would issue right out to the outside, into the hillside. And in that tunnel probably was built a fire. Then some kind of timber, planks or brushwood, and the grain would be set on top over the open bowl, and then the heat from the fire would rise up and dry the grain.